Last night, Saturday night, at our PATC live show, we discussed the breaking story. Northwestern Football program coach Pat Fitzgerald was suspended for 2 weeks. A story broken even more by the student daily newspaper at Northwestern. We went through it all. If you haven't seen it, go back to last night's live show. We have an update in that story. The president of Northwestern, Mike O'Shea, has put out a letter. We're going to go through that here in episode 262. Also, we're going to go through the Big 12 head coach rankings by CBS Sports as we enter 2023. Welcome to College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to our ever-growing channel. Smash that like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends. Let's not waste any more time. Let's go to Northwestern's president, Mike O'Shea. An update. He sent this out close to midnight last night. We're going to read the letter here real quick. Again, last night, if you missed it, go to our live show last night, Saturday night. We go through the daily student newspaper, Northwestern. They broke the story even more. He's putting out incredible details of an alleged sexual assault. A player came out, another player confirmed it. These serious allegations. Go through our live show last night. You get updated on what is happening at Northwestern. This here in episode 262 is an update. After the student newspaper report came out yesterday, a letter was put out by the rest of the football players on the team saying that the allegations were exaggerated and twisted. We went through that letter as well on our live show last night. Here in episode 262 this morning, Sunday morning, we're going to be going through the letter that the president just sent out close to midnight last night. Dear members of the Northwestern University community, this is from the president, Shill. As many of you may be aware, yesterday we made public the executive summary of the investigation findings and detailed action steps regarding hazing within the Northwestern football program. I felt it important that you hear from me directly about our processes and next steps in this matter. Upon receiving an anonymous complaint from a student athlete in November of 2022, the university acted prudently to immediately engage an independent investigator to perform a comprehensive review of the complaint, including outreach to current and former student athletes. After reviewing the report, I assessed a 2-week suspension for head coach Pat Fitzgerald, which went into effect immediately. However, upon reflection, I believe I may have erred in weighing the appropriate sanction for Coach Fitzgerald. The confidential report concluded that while there was corroborating evidence that hazing had occurred, there was no direct evidence that Coach Fitzgerald was aware of the hazing. In determining an appropriate penalty for the head coach, I focused too much on what the report concluded he didn't know, and not enough on what he should have known. And we said that at Peek Around the Corner last night. Not knowing what was going on, none of his coaching staff, not knowing what was going on at Camp Kenosha, that is inexcusable. Now, you can read the whole letter here, update on hazing, an investigation. We provide a link in the description. You can read it on your screen right there. I just wanted to get to the point where the president said he did not focus enough on what Coach Fitzgerald did not know, if he truly did not know what was going on with these serious allegations from former student athletes and what was going on at the Northwestern football program. They're going to reevaluate here. I think a harsher penalty is coming on to Pat Fitzgerald. And if there's any evidence that he directly knew, that he had any inkling that this was been going on in the football program, Pat Fitzgerald is going to be without a job here. I believe they might even have to replace him. I think that's where we're going to get to here. If there's any more droppings coming from this story, It is a serious allegations. There's collaboration that things did go on that was horrible. Mike O'Shea in that letter talked about how he met with the student athlete that had these allegations, the traumatic effect that it had on him and his family. Again, you can read the whole letter. Mike O'Shea, the president of Northwestern. Devastating story. A lot of people affected by this. Even the student athletes who are not directly affected by this, still, to be in that environment, to be in that culture, not good. Pat Fitzgerald, I think your days should be numbered. We'll see if you survive. But Northwestern, they need to clean house at the head coach and all those other coaches in the program. I don't think an interim head coach coming out of that coaching staff is the answer. I think you would have to go outside of the football program if you do replace Pat Fitzgerald, which I think you need to do, Mike O'Shea. Put down your comments and thoughts. Again, an update to the story. The president comes out and says, I focused too much on what Pat Fitzgerald, what he didn't know. I should have focused more on what he should have known, what was going on in his football program. Okay, now, as we did in episode 260, where we went through the CBS Sports Rankings of the 14 head coaches, we're doing the Big 12 coaches here in episode 262. Again, let me know what you agree with here with CBS Sports. Dean Starka put out these rankings. Number 14 out of 14. Neil Brown, West Virginia. Brown has won 35 games in 4 years at Troy, but it's been a different story in Morgantown. West Virginia has finished above 500 just once under Brown, who's 22 and 25 since his arrival. I think Neil Brown is fortunate to have a head coaching job at West Virginia for this year. I think he should have been gone last year, at the end of last year. However, there's economics involved to it. Buyout maybe was too big for West Virginia. They had switched their athletic directors. There's a lot of things that go into replacing a head coach, Neil Brown. They weren't ready yet. Neil Brown is in the hottest of the hot seats as we go into the football season 2023. I think this 14th ranking is appropriate. Scott Satterfield, number 13, Cincinnati. Satterfield went 51 and 24 at Appalachian State, but the success has yet to translate to the Power 5 level. He was 25 and 24 at Louisville. I was shocked that Cincinnati went with Scott Satterfield. I do not think this was a good hire for Cincinnati. I think they could have done better. However, we'll see. We'll see. Will Cincinnati prove me wrong here at PATC? Scott Satterfield at number 13, I believe, is an appropriate ranking. Brent Venables at number 12. Holy smokes. Last year he was ranked at number 8. But he's been a head coach for 1 year, and it was last year, and it was a very disappointing year. Venables thrived as a defensive coordinator, but the jury is still out on him as a head coach. Last year was Oklahoma's first losing season since 1998. Oklahoma's last year here in the Big 12. They're going to be going to the SEC next year. I've got Oklahoma finishing in 6th in the Big 12 this year. So I'm not high on them once again. Brent Venables, he's going to have to turn it around, or he's going to be on the hottest of the hot seats by the end of the season. Dana Holgorsen, ranked number 11, Houston. Holgorsen is 88 and 61 all-time as a college coach, but his tenure at Houston has been left much to be desired. He did win 12 games in 2021. Last year, they were a huge disappointment. Houston, they were preseason top 25. They're about 25, 24 ranked in the country, and they struggled right out of the gate. Offensive line was supposed to be good. It was bad. They had a lot of things go wrong with Houston last year. Holgorsen, first year Houston in the Big 12. Holgorsen will be on the hottest of the hot seat if Houston struggles this season. Texas Tech, Joey McGuire, number 10. I would have Joey number 9 on this list. It's a bit surprising McGuire isn't higher on this list. His debut as a college coach, he guided Texas Tech to its first winning record in Big 12 play since 2000. 2009. The Red Raiders also beat Texas and Oklahoma in the same season for the first time ever. It was a great inaugural season for Joey McGuire. I think he should be number 9 on this list. And I think Kalani Sitake should be number 8 on this list. On here at CBS Sports, he's number 9. The past 3 seasons are the best stretch yet of Sitake's coaching career. BYU is 29-9. Holy smokes in that time. Finishing as high as number 11 in the AP 25 rankings in 2020 season. I think BYU takes a step back this year. I have them finishing in the bottom 3 in the conference. We shall see. But Kalani Sitake is not going to be on the hottest of hot seats, no matter what BYU does in their first season in the Big 12. Number 8, Steve Sarkisian. I would have him at number 10. Now, I believe Texas is back. I have Texas winning the Big 12 conference this year in 2023. I do, but you have to rank them as what has been done previously, and Sarkisian has been a disappointment. It remains to be seen if Sarkisian's tenure at the 40 acres will be a success. The Longhorns improved from a 5-7 mess in 2021 debut to an 8-5 finish in 2022, but that's far from reaching the threshold of Texas being back. Sarkisian is 59-47 all-time as a college head coach. I think he should be behind Sitake and Joey McGuire. Sarkisian number 10. That's the difference that I have with the CBS rankings. Right there in the middle, 8, 9, and 10. Matt Campbell, I agree with. Number 7. His stock has peaked in 2020, but it is slipping and it is a sliding. The Cyclones are 11-14 in the last 2 seasons. Matt Campbell, this is a very important year for that program. However, I do believe the Cyclones got themselves a great quarterback for the future, J.J. Cole. Matt Campbell won that recruiting battle, and I think that's going to pay dividends for the Cyclones football program in the years ahead. Number 6 is Gus Malzahn. I agree with this. Malzahn continues to get respect from his time at Auburn, where he was 67-35. For the present, UCF won 9 games in each of Malzahn's first 2 years, and he has built arguably the most Power 5 ready roster among the 4 Big 12 newcomers. And I agree with that. I think UCF is going to be the best balanced team. I think their defense is going to be surprisingly good this year in the Big 12, their first year in the Big 12. Number 5, Dave Aranda, up and down. It's been a roller coaster ride for Aranda through 3 years in Waco, Texas. Baylor won 2 games in 2020, rocketed to 12 wins in the Big 12 title in 2021, and fell back big time in 2022. Where was that physical defense of Baylor's last year? They were like a sieve. I think Baylor bounces back. I've got them as a sleeper to get to a New Year's Bowl. We shall see, but Baylor, Dave Aranda, number 5 in the rankings. Again, I cannot argue with that. Lance Leipold, number 4, the Kansas Jayhawks. Leipold, what can you say? Legendary career at Wisconsin Whitewater. An unbelievable season last year with Kansas. Let's see what Kansas can do this year. But I don't think, I would not have him in the top 3. Number 4 is the right spot. Mike Gundy. He was number 1 last year in these rankings. He's fallen back to number 3. Gundy is the longest tenured active Big 12 coach by a wide margin. 156-75 overall record speaks volumes. But where is Oklahoma State football program headed? It has it flatlined. Is it about to slip backwards? I think Mike Gundy being number 3 is the right spot. Chris Kleiman. Holy smokes. Number 2. It took 4 seasons for Kleiman to lead Kansas State to an outright Big 12 championship. The program's first since 2003. A magical season last year for Kansas State, and we have peek around the corner, have Kansas State going to the Big 12 championship again to defend their reigning undisputed championship. against Texas, TCU, Sonny Dykes, number 1. You got to put him there. You got to put him there. TCU went to the college football playoffs and won a game. The first Big 12 school to win a playoff game was TCU, Sonny Dykes, year 1. You have to put Sonny Dykes number 1. Even if you don't believe that's going to be sustainable, you have to put Sonny Dykes at number 1. And that's why Chris Klieman is at number 2. And it's the only reason why Chris Klieman is at number 2. Both of those guys had a fantastic year last year. Their teams went to the Big 12 championship game. Kansas State won it. TCU got the bid for the 4-team invitational, and TCU won a playoff game and went to the college national championship game. They got blown out against Georgia, but an epic, historic year for the TCU Horned Frogs. So there it is. That's the rankings. Let me know what you agree or disagree with. I agree with all of it for CBS Sports Rankings, except for the 8, 9, and 10 spot. I would have Sarkisian from 8 to 10. I would have Joey McGuire from 10 to 9 and Kalani Sitake from 9 to 8. That's my only difference with the CBS rankings. Let me know what you agree or disagree with CBS Sports. Hang with us here at Peek Around the Corner as we continue to follow the Northwestern Football program story of alleged sexual assault within their football program and what is going to happen with Pat Fitzgerald, a highly successful coach, a former football player, a legendary football player, linebacker for Northwestern, went on to the NFL, and then he's had a historic, great career as the head coach of Northwestern. But what is going on in that football program? Holy smokes. Stick with us here. We cover that story, and we continue to cover the Pac-12, Big 12 saga. Lots of things going on, so stick with us until next time. From all of us at Peek Around the Corner to all of you, please, you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much.